hey, here we are. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. We are live on the Twitch. If you're watching this later on YouTube, thank you very much for that as well. And a hype train just kicked off. And you'll notice that the setup that we have changes like a little bit day by day, and that's because between traveling and all the other stuff that we're doing, it's hard to keep everything very consistent in this room. Holy crap, we're at level 3 already of the hype train.
Do we have Seahawks colors for a reason today?
No, I just figured it's been red and purple for a while. Trying to get like colors that kind of go together, right? And I think blue and green go together.
It's also Elvis Duran in the Morning Show OG colors.
It is, and actually, if you have not listened yet, maybe you're on the West Coast and it's still a little early in your day, the Morning Show podcast today has 2 guests from the greatest morning show ever to exist. Brody and Scary and Brody, they both joined us for a very, very fun game of Cover Lovers.
From what morning show?
From Elvis Duran in the Morning Show. They joined us for Cover Lovers on the Morning Show podcast, so definitely check that out later. If you need the link, you can type in the word, exclamation point, and then the word podcast into the chat, and you'll get that link for Amazon, I think Google, Spotify, and Apple.
You have to share the new link.
Oh, I do have to add the new link. That's right. What?
I made that.
Also, if you listen to the Morning Show podcast, you'll get information about Carla Marie's Happy Box collaboration that she's doing. And our friends at the Roosevelts gave us a very special code that gives you a one-time 20% off coupon code, discount code. And they just launched their Spider-Man shirt yesterday. They're doing a different Marvel shirt, I believe, every day this week.
I saw that.
It's like a
There's
huge
an article
collaboration.
about them.
Yeah, Marvel actually wrote about Roosevelt's, which is pretty cool. Thank you to Jess from Minnesota. Thank you to Z from NYC. Thank you to Kim from Connecticut, who all donated or gifted bits. Mellow FM for the subscription, Court with a K, and Lee in Tacoma also with subscriptions on Prime. Thank you very much for that.
Lee just ran, when was it? Lee ran a pretty big marathon. Did I make that up?
I don't know.
I'm also catching up on everything in Discord, and I'm behind. So I'm like, oh, that looks so great. Oh, my God, I'm so many messages behind. I know, and
there's certain times, especially because I just got this new phone from T-Mobile. I forgot to download Discord right away. So I downloaded it, and I'm at a point now where between my family chat and our Discord here, this family chat, I just decided I'm not going to catch up. I'm just going to start today. I think Jordan Puyallup said I gave Scary easy ones. I think they were both actually pretty even. But they will probably come back for a rematch at some point.
I don't want to spoil things, so I'll let you guys listen today, and I will complain on Thursday.
Let's see. We got a subscription from KevSU38. Thank you very much.
That's what I knew was something. Lee got into the Boston Marathon.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Oh, my God. So on April 18th, maybe we should all do like a little run around the block in honor of Lee as she's ready.
I'm sure that's very useful for everybody. Let's see. CW Coach, thank you very much for your gifted subscription.
Wow, everyone's saying Scary's were easier.
Well, I guess we'll have to give him a rematch at some point. They don't watch this, so it's not like you're defending Brody because he's never going to watch this. Remember when Scotty was trying to describe what we did on Twitch? He was like, yeah, your podcast, the podcast you do. I was like, no, it's not just the podcast.
They're so confused.
Yep.
So confused.
Unicorn Cindy, thank you very much for your gifted bits.
Jay Cross, to you, Anthony. Maryland is about to announce your boy Willard, which is Seton Hall's coach.
Yep. They it's announced. They announced it on it's official, and then I guess he's got his press conference in a little bit. So
I feel like you should apply for the job at Seton Hall.
To coach?
Yeah.
I would be the worst.
Love it.
I would be the worst basketball coach in the history of America. I mean, they would pay me about at least $1 million. And this is where
I would wear Seton Hall.
Man, sports fans can be so dumb at times. And obviously, if you want to see the dumb things people say, you just go to Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's just where it all happens. Yeah. I don't really go to Facebook that often, so I guess it happens there as well.
Another, they're not real humans over there.
But there are so many people, people make announcements saying, thank you, Kevin Willard, because he spent 12 years. He spent 12 years at Seton Hall. And there are still people who will just rip into him and call the team terrible names. And
those
it's just
people
like,
have mental, like, those people, that's a red flag. Like, if I ever saw a guy doing that or a guy any of my friends were dating, I'd be like, red flag.
Yeah.
Like, be careful.
And
He's yelling at other grown men about sports.
The crazy thing, and this is how fickle sports fans are, in the middle of the season, when rumors first popped up.
Guys.
What?
They're really trying.
To get us to level 5. Let's see. We're almost there. We have Diana, 509. We have Lisa. We have Life is a Hike, Court in Spokane.
And boom.
Twelzy. Is that how you say that? All hooking us up.
Tweezy.
What
does that mean?
Sunny Survivor 7. Who else? We got Unicorn Cindy, 83 Marie Smith, all either gifting bits or subscribing with Prime. Thank you guys very, very much. Carla Marie, as I finish up this quick sports thing, can you pour?
Court is right. They do not make it easy to subscribe on your phone.
They don't. It's annoying.
It doesn't make any sense.
107%. Thank you guys very, very much for the support. We appreciate it. That takes us to, let's see, the main scene here. What do we got? Where we have just accomplished our 4th hype train in a row. We had 1 day off in 2.5 months. That ain't bad. Anyway, real quick. Halfway through the season, our coach at Seton Hall, Kevin Willard, when the rumors started circulating about him going to Maryland, people were livid. It was like, no, we can't lose our coach, blah, 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 this and that. And all it really was one terrible loss in the NCAA tournament, which still means you're one of the best teams in the country.
Right.
By making it to the NCAA tournament. And people lost their damn minds. Good riddance. Get him out of here. I hope Maryland doesn't take back their offer because he stinks so bad. Blah, blah, blah. It's just nuts. And they're saying it publicly.
Are your friends saying this in your bro chat?
In our bro chat, so bro chat is different than our Seton Hall chat.
Sorry.
There's different people in each one.
Oh, sorry.
There are some repeats. Like there's the Venn diagram overlaps a little bit.
Okay.
But in the bro chat or the Seton Hall chat, it's mainly that game was so unbelievably embarrassing as a fan of a team. And every team is allowed to say that. Every sports fan is allowed to say that was a piss poor performance. Mm-hmm. Right? Bad coaching. It didn't seem like there was a lot of energy. We got outplayed, everything. But we usually also remember, like, the guy, Kevin Willard specifically, took over a program that was like the laughing stock of basketball. What?
Why did someone just say, ew, Ted Cruz?
Oh, because he's on the list.
Oh.
Ted Cruz made it to this.
I
By the way,
physically cannot see it, and I was like, did you just say Ted Cruz? 2
things on the list that are going to get people triggered. Masks and Ted Cruz. And I guarantee you, this conversation will still not be political with those 2 things on the list.
I also have other things.
Hear me out.
That aren't on the list, and we can't go too late today because Anthony has to bring the garbage out.
And we have a meeting right after the show. But yeah, in our chat, yes, we are very animated. But again, it's not in a public space. We're not tweeting at people. We're not doing that kind of stuff. And I think that's where you run into, like, just idiots.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Okay, let's do this so I can get it over with.
Ready, Carla Marie? Cheers to you. Cheers to everyone who supported. Cheers to the bartender. What? What? Oh, birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to you.
Diana 50509. What are you doing over there? Your fingers look like those balloons people smack together at games.
What I was going to say before Diana said it was her birthday is that my grandma would have been 100 years old today.
Damn.
Because I, for some reason, I like know that birth date like crazy, March 22nd. I just always in my head. Mm-hmm. And today when I realized it was 22, I text my dad and I was like, would Grammy have been 100 today? He's like, yeah, because I remember, I was like, her birthday was 1922.
That is pretty crazy. 1922. So she was born in a great time, the Roaring 20s.
Yeah, but she couldn't really.
Well, no, the Great Depression had just hit.
But she didn't know about it.
Well, no, of course she didn't know about it, but I'm sure her family did. I'm sure great granny did.
She was one of 13 kids.
Wait, someone correct me. Was the Great Depression 21 or 23? And then at the end, and then we...
I
Man, I think I'm all screwed up here.
Ooh.
She had 13 kids, you said?
No, she was one of 13.
Oh, one of 13.
Then she only
Because
had...
my mom is one of 13.
Well, my grandma was one of 13 and then said, nope, and only had one kid. My
Oh,
dad.
wow. I was way off. So it was
Yeah.
1929 into the 30s. So we had the wrong 20s. Then that hit. Thank you very much.
Everyone spent all their money,
Mhm.
and then the depression hit. That's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
to happen to us now.
You're right.
I knew it was later.
Is that
Wait.
color zip that Carla Marie is wearing coming back? Oh, you have the sand one, right? Is that what that was called?
Yeah. No. Well, no. We called it protein powder.
Yes, and it is not currently
Yeah.
on the list to come back.
Because I don't think there was any avail. So I would suggest shopping specifically beanies because once they're wiped, which I believe is soon,
Mhm.
actually need to check all the colors today.
And also, if you order soon, before they run out, there is, I know it's not like the craziest thing, but there is a free You Look Great chapstick that is available. Bam, there it is. And then we're going to get into the topics here in a second. And it's actually, you can't see it, but it is a pretty cool metallic like label. All right.
People love chapstick. Don't underestimate.
What?
Don't
Oh, no, they do.
underestimate.
So, first thing on the list, we got through the hype train for 4 days in a row. So it is now a 4-day streak. Next, and this was super interesting, students demand masks. Okay.
Where?
Apparently yesterday here in Seattle,
Oh,
and this is, now again, I'm not going to get into the ideas behind mask mandates and how you feel about it or how I feel about it. The interesting thing is, students had a walkout yesterday. About 100 students walked out and had a rally downtown in Seattle demanding that mask mandates return because right now they are optional
So
in
why
the
would-
city of Seattle.
But here's my question for
Yes.
all of those students.
Yes.
Then just wear a mask.
So, well, one of the things is as we know, if everyone wears one, it does actually mitigate transmission of the disease, or of anything. Here's the interesting thing that I loved is apparently pretty recently, all the high schools in Seattle created a Seattle student union
Yes.
so they
I
could
do know
all
this.
mobilize. And I love
They
that.
don't they don't mess around, man. I couldn't control my class president over here. I couldn't control anybody. These kids, they got it down.
And that's the best. The best thing is, and Seattle does have a really unique history with unions because unions have actually shut down this city before to fight for workers' rights in the past. It's been one of the places where unions have probably done the most positive good for workers here in, positive good is redundant, here in Seattle. So I love the fact that students, for whatever reason, have mobilized, unionized, and found out, hey, these are some things we're all going to fight for.
Right.
And they've gone to the streets basically to do
They
it.
should be like, we're going to go to the streets until you stop teaching us math.
I don't think that's what they're trying to do.
They're like, they should say, we want to learn about taxes, not algebra. Teach us how to do our taxes. Teach us how to budget. That's what they need to do. I'm going to these union meetings.
Well, I think you're a little old for that, Carla Marie.
No, they need someone old to be like, this is what you should be taught in school.
Yeah. And again, what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring back a mask mandate. They're not trying to get rid of a mask mandate because Governor Inslee here in Washington just removed the mask mandate about a week ago.
And no state has a mask mandate. But
Does
Sonali said,
did Hawaii get rid of theirs?
yes.
Okay.
Sonali said it's because without the mandate, kids were getting bullied and peer pressured, the ones that were wearing them.
Yep. And according to the article that was written and according to the comments by the students, there were some high schools where almost everyone was still wearing masks and others where because it was optional, they weren't wearing it at all. And again, I am not getting into whether I think wearing masks at this point is necessary or whatever. All I'm saying is I love the fact that students at that age, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in high school, you're from what,
Yo, kids
15 to 18?
Kids in Seattle are a different breed.
They've understood the power of unionizing and getting together and collaborating from one school to another. They understand that there's power in numbers. And I can't, regardless of how I feel about a topic, I can't knock an organization for getting together and making their voices heard.
Yep.
And it was a positive way. Yeah, they probably maybe got an absence for walking out of class or whatever, but they didn't ruin anything. They didn't hurt anybody.
Here's the thing. Their parents, who are our age probably and a little older, probably fully support this because they are of a generation that stands by this as well, right? The same way you are. And I when I say kids here are a different breed, it's because a lot of the parents here either grew up here in Seattle, which is just so different than anywhere else, or come from tech companies, which are just a different atmosphere or just the way things are done. When I say kids here are different, that's what I mean. I don't mean they're smarter or whatever it is. They're just...
No, all kids are dumb.
Yes. They just do things differently, and they are way more organized.
I do have to say, though, I did see, as much respect as I have for a lot of the Seattle students for creating the Seattle Student Union and having their voices heard. I did see, and I think she was a student over here because we live pretty close to one of the Seattle high schools. Fashion's real weird, man.
Okay.
And
what are they wearing?
This girl.
Let's talk about it.
And again, I'm not bullying her.
Nope.
Because I don't know who she is. She probably doesn't watch this. And you know what? At the end of the day,
I hope not. She's in school.
no, wear whatever you want to wear. But here's the but. She was wearing like the Davy Crockett like raccoon hat. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it's like a fur hat with a little tail hanging off of it. Does everyone understand the visual here? Because she was wearing that, and it wasn't like ironically in front of a group of friends. She was just walking around by herself, which I feel like you don't do things ironically when you're by yourself.
I see a group of them, Ballard High School specifically, standing at the corner of the high school. And I am like, why are you in your pajamas?
Oh, that was me, though.
I know.
That was me 100%.
I know. Or just like, but then I see the girls and I'm like, ooh, this is great for me. I'm going to drive by and be like, that's the outfit I'm going to get next because that's what's going to be trending next. Because truly, I don't care what you tell me. You can say high school kids are influenced by the media. High school kids always control the rest of the fashion, general fashion.
Youth usually leads when it comes to trends. All trends, whether it's the apps we use, whether it's the clothes we wear.
TikTok.
That's kind of where it all comes from.
But they're into the baggy jeans and crop tops.
You know what, Carla, you're
Like,
gonna get so mad when I tell you this.
Super baggy.
You're gonna get mad at me when I tell you this. So this past weekend, as you may know, I went to San Diego to watch Seton Hall play and get their asses handed to them in the NCAA tournament. And the game, I don't know if it was San Diego State or University of San Diego. Either way, it was on campus. So we parked on campus. We walked by like the student center, the student gym. Because I was very confused when I first walked up. I'm like, man, there's a lot of young people going to this game. And then I realized like, oh no, we're on campus during a regular school time.
I love college campuses.
So do I. And I really wish I knew there was a gym there, an open gym, because I would have taken my stuff.
Don't you
Either
just
way.
swipe your ID card to get in?
That didn't look like it. Anyway.
You definitely do.
So my friend Pat and I were walking from the car to the arena, and there was a girl walking in front of us, and you're going to get so mad. This girl looked like she was plucked out of a Christina Aguilera video. It was like a little whatever bandana thing. I don't know what it was. It looks like it was an actual bandana that she wrapped around her chest. But that's not even the part that's going to get you mad.
It's the low rise.
It was the lowest. I mean, these jeans barely got over her hips.
Okay, here's my question.
And listen,
wait, quick question.
Yes.
Were they skinny jeans or were they baggy?
No, they were very low cut, but also like loose at the same time.
I'm okay with that. I truly am. I don't need to wear it. I'm okay with that only because when you're wearing super tight skinny jeans that are low, like when I tell you like a muffin top, beyond like, oh no, you messed up making your muffins.
The top of them was not loose.
Right. But they're not tight. They're just resting, basically.
And then it was almost like bell bottom, like top. I don't know.
Don't even get me started on the bell bottoms.
Although I'm a fashion icon, I don't do a good job describing things, articles of clothing, but it is what it is.
I did want to have Anthony start picking out one item when I do my Newly rental once a month. Have you pick out one item? You weren't here. I had to pick it out this weekend. But next time you're going to... next time will be my stagecoach. after that, I'll have you pick out.
So UK Frog had now going back to Seattle students demanding masks and the mask mandate return. And again, if you missed it earlier, they unionized. They walked out of class yesterday. And I guess when Governor Inslee said that he was going to remove the mask mandate, they had warned that if it impacts schools, they're going to have a walkout. So UK Frog 2020 just asked, are other students against it? I'm not aware of what's going on in U.S. high schools. Here's the thing. I'm not totally aware of what's going on in U.S. high schools again.
We don't
and
have
I'm
a
sure
pulse on the high schools.
I'm sure that there are other students that are sick of masks. And again, what we're trying to do here, and I know we're walking a very fine line, is not get into whether or not every student agrees with mask mandates or wanting them back. We're not trying to get into the pros and cons of masks necessarily. Just talking about the fact that it's pretty incredible that every high school in Seattle is represented in this Seattle Student Union.
Don't mess around with high school kids, man.
And they had their own protest yesterday where they walked out. There were like speeches and stuff going on. And it's just pretty incredible
It's cool.
that happened.
It should be a thing.
And I know that some high schools have walked out on their own. I know there have been rallies at different high schools, but for every high school in the city
To be represented.
and have a voice is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Really. Let's see.
I don't know. Everyone says Gen Z is lazy. I don't know, man. Don't sleep on high school kids these days because they're going to kick our asses in a few years. Figuratively.
Are mandated federal laws. I don't know entirely what you're asking. These would be state by state mandates.
So UK Frog earlier asked, what's the difference between a mandate and a law? A mandate is basically you can't be arrested for a mandate, right? Like I can't be arrested for not wearing a mask, but I can be kicked out of a business or told I can't come in somewhere. If I really push it, yes, if I cause a scene in some cases. But like if I'm in a grocery store without wearing a mask, they're going to tell me I have to get out. I'm not going to get handcuffed. If it's the law, which it's not, you could be.
This is a great point from Karina from New York. She said they're not lazy, they're efficient. And I do think what you have, especially, and it started with millennials because millennials got roasted for basically everything. We killed Applebee's and we killed doorbells and we killed all these stupid things that BuzzFeed like to write an article about every single day. But I think every younger generation does this. You just start questioning the way things are done and going, why is that a thing? Or why isn't this a thing? Right? Why is this the norm? Is normally what a developing, growing generation that is
questions everything.
Yeah.
You question everything as a teenager. Why this? Why that? I don't want to do it, so why? Where like older generations are just like, this is what we've always done. We're going to do it.
The reason I'm grabbing my phone right now, by the way, is to get into the next topic. Because I don't want to go all the way down the rabbit hole of masks. That's not really what we're trying to do.
Need a bell. Ding. Next. No, we have to have something.
We don't have it.
What are the sounds on that thing?
Those are all from the morning show podcast. They're like clips that we played into the podcast.
We don't have like a swoosh?
No, we don't. So the next thing on the list, we talked about the hype train, obviously. We talked about students demanding masks back here in Seattle and unionizing. The next thing is this article that my cousin Rudy shared yesterday. And it's 5 harsh truths that you need to understand if you're going to grow. And 5 harsh truths that will help you grow if you accept them.
I'm assuming not literally grow. Like what I need to do to grow and get taller?
No, Carla Marie. Not grow and get taller. Not like a beanstalk. Grow as a human.
Okay.
So the first one is, and this was written on Medium. I will retweet it so you can find it at Worst Anthony on Twitter. The first one is, the world will never quit poking you. Most people make the error of thinking that one day it will all be done. They think if I can work enough, then one day I can rest. Or I'm only doing this now so that one day I can really get on with my life.
Nope.
The error is to think that eventually things will be different in some fundamental way. They won't.
True.
It never ends. As long as life continues, the creative challenge is to tussle, play, and make love with the present moment while giving your unique gift.
I remember, I always think about this when I was in college. I remember saying, I can't wait to get a job so I don't have to do homework. I'm so over homework. I just want to come home and do nothing. And I'll never forget, in my first year at Elvis' show, I was sitting in my bedroom, the same bedroom I sat in for my whole life, and I'm on my computer doing prep for the next day, and I was like, I'm doing homework.
Yeah.
Until this day, I have never not had to, my entire life.
An assignment that you take
There's
home.
always an assignment I've taken home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that we oftentimes
And it's a bit different than that, but
no, but it's often, I think it's the same principle of you forget to enjoy the moment because you're looking forward to a moment that is cleaner, easier, more loving, whatever, than you have now. Instead of saying, hey, this is just the way things are. You're always going to work at something. You're always, even when you retire, I mean, your parents still have projects that they work on, right? There's a kitchen being remodeled. There's things that they do, even though they're both retired.
yeah.
Right? My mom now works from home usually, but there's still things that are annoying about working. My dad has his own jewelry store. He doesn't work for anybody else, but there's still things that are annoying in the workplace. And I love the fact that this is reminding us, like, stop trying to wait for a perfect day.
Karina said it the best. Stop with the one day thinking. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life.
Yep. And part of that, I think, to me means, like, understand that you're allowed to, even though things are annoying, you can still enjoy a moment.
And Mello, I don't want this to go down the path of only being about work.
No.
That was my example. Because Mello said, I guess it depends on your career. Because with mine, I go home and I don't take work home with me. It's not only necessarily about work. There's always something, some season, some project you're going through in life. Maybe not this very moment, but there will be another one.
You can say, oh man, I can't, if you're a homeowner, I can't wait to finish this project and refloor, do the floors again. And then something else is going to pop up.
You're going to sell your house and buy a new one.
The next thing on the list of 5 hard truths to help you grow. Things will never be the way they should be. And here's the quote under that. We unconsciously imprison ourselves to avoid our most primal fears. We choose should because choosing must is terrifyingly incomprehensible.
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, that was a very loaded quote.
Can you say that in a sentence, please?
Basically, what it's trying to say is, let's go back to the original, the heading of this. Things will never be the way they should be. They're always going to be the way they are, and that's what you have to deal with. You can't try to deal with a situation, a scenario that's perfect in one that is not. Mm-hmm. And I think that's basically what that weird philosophical quote was trying to say. What are you doing?
Well, it says should is a dangerous and useless word.
Yeah.
People often use should to give themselves an excuse for not doing something or for complaining about an unchangeable circumstance.
This is the way it should be. Yeah. I wish it was like this.
A perfect world doesn't exist.
Yep.
I like that. How about that? Did that help explain it?
Yeah, I think the quote originally was
Don't read it again.
No.
It hurt my head.
I will not. That one's pretty easy, right? Like, you can't deal with a situation in the way you think it should be. You have to deal with a situation in the way that it is. And that's it.
Reset, what's going on?
We are going through a list that was posted to Medium. I'm going to butcher this author's name, so I'm not even going to try, but I will tweet it out at Worst Anthony once we're done. You can check it out for yourself. And it's, if you want to grow, accept these 5 harsh truths. And I found this because my cousin Rudy posted it yesterday. All right, number 2.
3.
Thank you. No one is coming to save you. I'm going to say that again. On the list of
This is
5
supposed to help
harsh
me grow?
truths, no one is coming to save you. Let's see. This one says, when was the last time the government came to rescue you?
I don't know, in 2020.
The answer is likely never. Yet we treat it like a savior or a demon when it's neither. It's a machine, an uncaring machine that's completely self-interested. Regardless, we make our way to the voting booths to ensure our guy or girl wins. Now, again, the original quote here is no one is coming to save you. And I think really what that means is you've got to be responsible for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we think like, oh, when we elect this next person, taxes won't be as high and I'll be able to do this and that. And then there's some other demon that comes with it.
And this is not to minimize the importance of voting, right? You still want to go get your person, the person you agree with the most, into certain positions because you're hoping for the best. But at the end of the day, think about how many levels removed you are from that person immediately impacting your life.
But I also think that isn't just political.
No, I think it's work too.
No one's coming to save you.
Mm-hmm. It's everything, really. No one's going to make you.
Yeah, but Disney told me otherwise.
I don't know. I think most of those Disney princesses saved themselves in some way.
No.
Not Snow White.
None of them. Literally none of
Not
them
Cinderella.
in our childhood. They were all saved by a prince.
Jasmine? Saved by a prince.
That bitch got carpet rides. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I guess they all were saved by a guy. Anyway. Elsa?
Yeah. Now, I said of
Modern,
our
yeah.
childhood.
Golden era, which is I think the term for it, right? Golden era Disney, which like goes from, there's a bunch of different ones. Anyway. Jasmine, I'm not a prize to be won, but she ended up being a prize to be won.
Yeah.
Like she still needed Aladdin to save her. Oh, Mulan saved her country.
Acting like a boy.
True. If I was okay. So again, number 3 was no one is coming to save you. Number 4. Everyone's gonna hate this one. Everything is your fault. Everything
Is it though?
is your fault, which is number 4. And the quote here is from Teddy Roosevelt to back that up. He said, if you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month. Okay?
I love that guy.
Everything is your fault is number 4 on the list of hard truths that you need to accept to grow.
Give me reasons why.
All right. This person says, I know what you're thinking. You were born poor. Your parents didn't treat you well. You have a disability. You have a funny accent. You live in the wrong city. You're sick. Your boss hates you. You have no money. You're a disabled vet. You're black. You're a woman. You're gay. You're trans. You're special. And because your circumstances are so unique, you couldn't possibly be to blame for your failures. Deep down, we're all the common denominator of our problems, but it's hard to face. Why? Because it means we're the ones who have to change our situation. And if we don't change our situations, we can only blame ourselves. And I think that's a very long-winded way of saying, yes, we all have our things that hold us back, our roadblocks, our hurdles, whatever. But if you are not actively trying to get over those hurdles and fight through those roadblocks, much like the statement before, no one is coming to save you. So if you don't save yourself, you are only to blame.
But to rebuttal that, like Lisa just said, well, it's not my fault I was born a woman. And we definitely
100%.
have.
Again, this isn't my list.
But I'm not telling you,
Okay.
Anthony. I'm saying, like, women make less money. So no matter how many hurdles I jump over, I will not be paid the same as a man.
Okay, and let me throw this out there, just as a hypothetical. If you know for sure that your employer is paying a man for the same exact position with the same exact experience, with the same exact amount of time with the company, right? All of it. If they are paying a man more than you, is there something you can do about it? Can you point that out?
Not always.
Or
And not before like a year ago.
Can you point that out, or can you find that information out and leave? Is the question.
Again, not as easy as said, because you're probably a mom in some cases, right? Can't just give up your job and try to find a new one.
Totally get that. And again, we're not debating just for women, because there's a lot of things on here. There's disability, there's race, there's a lot of things on this list. Right.
That was the one that I related to. So that's what I said.
I know.
But there is something to be said of, we do make excuses for ourselves, right? Like, everything is your fault. Yes, there are other factors that also may not be your fault, even saying everything is your fault. I think the whole point of this is we all make excuses instead of trying to fix the problem in some aspect of our life. It's not always. Yes, there are people that make excuses for everything, but you're making excuses in some aspect of your life, because that is what we do as humans.
Let's see. Claire just said, what was the last one they said? I was on a call. The last one we said was number 4, everything is your fault. And I'm going to go through the list real quick to catch everybody up in case you just joined. If you want to grow, accept these 5 harsh truths. This is an article on Medium. I will post it to Twitter later. The world will never quit poking you was number 1. There will never be the way, things will never be the way they should be is number 2. Number 3, no one is coming to save you. Number 4, everything is your fault. I don't even know what number 5 is yet. Oh, this is great. Number 5, and if the radio fam is in here, I know she'll love this one because she just shared a quote very similar to this from our friend Chris Cruz. You'll never find the perfect time to start. So you may as well just start. And the quote is, this is a great proverb, one of my favorite ones. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Every single human that I had on my Side Hustlers podcast who had a small business said they pushed it off and finally just started. And their advice was always just start. Because if you keep putting things off, which we did with our own podcast, right? Like we put that podcast off for no reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes we physically did have a reason. We knew we couldn't give it the time. But
stop making excuses.
Stop making excuses. It's true. And there is no better time to start than now, even if it's a soft start.
Yeah. Our friend Chris Cruz, he was actually at the same conference or seminar that Carla Marie was speaking at, a different panel. And his quote was, start shitty, because starting shitty is better than not starting at all.
And then you have something to grow from.
And it was something that our friend Kyle King also talked about. He was on the Morning Show podcast. Both of them actually were kind of recently. And he said originally he thought about going on Twitch and he was going to wait till he could afford the perfect mic or the perfect lighting or whatever. And Chris convinced him. He said, man, just start. You can upgrade everything later on. And part of that is it doesn't matter what fancy tools you have if you're not going to start. So you may as well start without them and then learn and grow and acquire those things down the road. First time chat from Millie's 1354. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. So, and that can go to a lot of things, right? It can literally go down to treating the people around you the way they should be treated, right? You may have messed up in the past. You may need to work on yourself, but you can start treating people better immediately. You can start investing money or saving money immediately. You can, if you have a fitness goal, yeah, you should have probably started 5, 10, 20 years ago, but guess what? You can start today.
Yeah.
You can literally go for a walk right now and you're good to go if you can walk.
Karina said it's also what, is always said about working out. Doing something is better than nothing. Even if you work out for 15 minutes, instead of saying, I can only work out for 15 minutes, so I'm not going to work out. No, do that.
There was a really great article I read. And again, I'm going to post this article from Medium. You can see the author there.
Do it right now.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
There's a little tweet button.
Where's the tweet button? Oh, there it is. Okay. Tweet. It's on my Twitter, @WorstAnthony. So that is there. I read an article that blew my mind it was like 3 weeks ago or so. And it was about people who struggle to get themselves to the gym, not because they're not motivated, but because they have an intense fear. And this is a problem that a lot of people have of going to a big gym with a lot of people. There's like this anxiety. There's a lot that goes into it. And as dumb as it sounded, one of the ways that this article pointed out is people like getting over that fear was someone who would go to the gym for 3 minutes a day and turn around. They'd literally walk in a treadmill for 3 minutes and then they'd leave. And then the next week they'd do 5 minutes and they'd go back. And it takes a very long time in that way to find results. But if your fear is just getting there, then you accomplished it and you get to leave.
I had gym anxiety, regular gym anxiety. Barry's bootcamp, I was so scared to start it. Even Orange, I can't say no. Orange Theory, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But
well, because by the time you started Orange Theory, you had done Barry's for over a year.
Yeah. And once I had started doing Barry's regularly, I would go into the regular gym and be like, shut up to everybody in my head. Like, I didn't care what you thought of me at that point. But I would go to the gym after work by myself. And I worked at Elvis' show, and I say by myself because we used to work out together sometimes here at LA Fitness in Bellevue.
Oh, yeah.
I would go by myself and not know a single thing and be so scared. And I would go into this little room and just do a workout by myself. But it got me to the gym. So we had a friend recently who posted on Instagram. I don't know if you saw this. They were like, I have serious gym anxiety. I don't know what to do. What's your advice?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I literally responded and I said, the best advice I had explained to myself was no one fucking cares about you. No one cares about whatever you're doing at the gym unless you're like doing something obnoxious. No one cares you're on the treadmill. No one gives a crap about the squats you're doing. They're in their own head, and you'll realize that when you're at the gym doing the same thing. I said the only time I focus on anyone else is if I see a hot girl with a great body and I'm complimenting her in my head. I'm never judging anyone unless it's couples wearing matching outfits, but that's what you expected.
That's what you get when you wear matching out. That's literally like you signed up for that before. You made a very specific decision as a couple to say we are going to match and we are going to make a statement.
Or the guy that showed up with a restaurant-sized bag of oatmeal. Again, you showed up to the gym with a restaurant-sized bag of oatmeal.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking at regular, meaning like people just like me being like, oh, look at that person, the way they're walking or how fast they're running. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm worrying about not falling on my own face.
And the person you're talking about, Carla Marie, I actually did respond to the same question that
funny.
she posted on her Instagram story. And I said, you've just got to understand, especially when it comes to the gym, everyone is there for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is there to work on themselves. And they don't really care what you're doing.
No.
Put your weights away, clean up your spot, and you're going to be okay.
And Sonali just said, in quotes, it's your fault. And I'm assuming, Sonali, you mean in that case, like it's in your head at the gym?
It could be. I don't know.
Going back to one of the other things on the list.
Yeah, Dana on Long Island, we also had questions about the guy with the bag of oatmeal. Unfortunately, none of those questions were answered.
I'm not going to find the picture easily right now. There was a man with I thought it was soil, a bag of soil.
Gigantic.
It was oatmeal.
You know what's funny? Even people that do weird things at the gym, right? The oatmeal guy. There's a guy who...
Pause.
What?
So Millie's 1345, who was a first-time chatter, said, I've been listening to you for a long time. I'm usually on YouTube, but I've never commented. I'm from Milwaukee. Love you guys. I used to work at LA Fitness, but they're in a business here now. I'm going to order your hoodies for myself and my family. Keep up the great work.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God, Anthony, how sad are you about LA Fitness in Milwaukee?
I mean, I don't live there, so it doesn't really affect me.
Yes, we can't move there.
I guess not.
Millie, thank you so much.
Although I will say, because Nashville didn't have LA Fitness locations either, that's how I found my favorite gym in the whole world.
Quantum.
Which, did we ever talk about the follow-up to that?
No, we're not. We're good. Yes,
No. We found out it was like the place for douchebags in Nashville.
When one of our friends... Oh,
I don't think we talked about this.
can we say the friend who said that?
Sure.
So our friend Morgan, who works at the Bobby Bones Show, Anthony was like, oh, I went to this gym, Quantum, and Morgan
And
was
I
like,
loved it.
no, you didn't. She's like, I'm telling you right now, if I started talking to a guy, she's like, when I was dating and when I was on the apps or whatever, and I found out he went to Quantum, I immediately ended the conversation. She's like, that's how bad it is here. You can't date anyone who goes to that gym. They're all douches.
And Zach, who was playing against Ricky, he's her co-host with Woody and Jim on the river in Nashville. He was on our show on Friday, playing against Ricky in 2 Second Tunes. And he said the same thing. He was like, oh, yeah, Quantum just has the reputation is...
We did talk about this.
It's just the douchebag gym. And you know what? I'm okay with it because I don't judge people at the gym.
Okay, next thing.
Next thing on the list. Oh, this is, again, you're going to have to be patient because we're not going to take this down a political path. But put this in the celebrity category, not the political category, all right? Put that hat on as we start this next discussion. Cops had to step in as Ted Cruz argued with airport staff in Bozeman, Montana.
What?
Apparently,
Bozeman is a beautiful city.
And again, you're going to think like, oh, masks or whatever. Nope. Ted Cruz simply missed his time to check in for his flight.
Too bad, buddy.
So he couldn't be put on the regular flight. And as they were trying to get him to book another one, he, I guess, lost it a little bit. And someone posted a video to Reddit of him yelling at airport employees. And then the cops had to step in. Now, here's the best part. Yes, Ted Cruz is a senator from Texas. Ted Cruz has a lot of people who hate him. Ted Cruz has a lot of people who love him. That's not what we're going to talk about here. What we are going to talk about is the idiocy of anyone anyone in 2022 who has any sort of fame or notoriety or influence to pull a move like that. Because I'll tell you what, even when I am unbelievably angry in a public space, I am so insignificant when it comes to the sphere of influence, the world of influence, that even I say, you know what? There's a good chance that someone that I'm going to interact with or someone who is watching me knows our show, knows Elvis's show, knows something that I've been attached to. And I'm not going to embarrass the people around me by losing my mind.
Now, if someone comes at me, you best believe I'm going to come back at you in public. But I'm not going to do that.
No,
I also wouldn't do that if for any reason.
It's just
But like you have
wild.
to know that's going to go public.
Yeah.
And the problem with celebrities is they think they are above the law and politicians, and that general rules from the FAA and airlines, like you have to be there by this amount of time, do not apply to them.
And that's the weirdest
Was he checking
thing.
a bag? What was the reason?
I guess he was trying to check a bag.
Happened to me Thanksgiving, and guess what? I literally walked up to the counter. I said, I'm late to check my bag. I need a new flight. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason I think that's what the case was is because they said he missed the check-in window. So if you miss the check-in window, that's usually something about your luggage not being there early enough. Because if he had a carry-on, he just has to be at the gate 12 minutes before.
What is he what is he packing?
Well, here's the best part. So I guess the video is him arguing with two employees at the Bozeman airport, and then they called it a public safety officer had to come in and intervene. If you've ever been to the Bozeman airport, there's literally like 4 people that work there total.
I've never been there.
Yeah, we have. That's where we saw. Oh no, that was in Bend.
Bend.
That was not Bozeman. That was Bend. But either way, I've been to the Bozeman airport. Very small. Not a lot of people work there. So if Ted Cruz is taking up the time of 2 employees at the Bozeman airport, no one else is working.
Nothing is happening.
Because those at tiny airports like that, the same people that are checking you in are also putting your baggage on the plane and then doing the announcements at the gate.
And directing the plane.
It's
We've
wild.
seen it.
So there's a very good chance that those 2 employees had a lot of other jobs they needed to get done, and they were just stuck getting yelled at by a senator, a U.S. senator who was mad he was late.
Okay, so what was the outcome?
They eventually rebooked him, and he had to leave like a normal human. But I just can't imagine.
I can't wait to watch this video.
I just can't imagine yelling at an employee because I'm late.
How amazing would it be to be sitting there waiting for your flight and just watching that happen?
Well, the public safety officer was he was asked questions by the person who wrote this article, and he was like, I actually didn't know that I didn't know who that was. It was just a person yelling, so I had to walk over there. But just how embarrassing. Like, stop.
Aren't you embarrassed?
And I always think of that. Sebastian Maniscalco. What do you say his name?
Maniscalco.
Maniscalco. Aren't you embarrassed? Isn't there a part of you that just says, ugh, I don't want to be this person?
No.
Again, not talking about the things he has voted for, voted against, signed, whatever. No. This isn't about that. This is about the fact that any person who represents an entire state in America has the nerve to do that.
Lisa said, Ted Cruz, no one will save you, and it's your fault.
Exactly. Blame yourself. It's your fault. You're late. They didn't change the time on you. You were just late, you dope. And I will say it's interesting. Someone had mentioned it earlier. I just assumed all politicians flew private. I didn't think that Ted Cruz would be on like a regular flight, but I guess, and oddly enough, maybe it's because he left Texas during their snowstorm and he went to Mexico to drop off his family or whatever. I feel like Ted Cruz gets photographed at airports and on airplanes more than anyone in America.
If you are Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, you just got yourself a brand new plane with your taxpayers' money, so you can fly all over you.
Did he get his own plane?
Oh my God. Literally, when we were leaving Florida, that was the breaking news, was that he bought a separate plane, and the excuse was Florida's big and he has to travel around Florida. So people were flipping out because he's probably going to use it to campaign for presidency.
That's what I was going to follow up with. He's probably that's something he's getting ready to do to run for president, because you do, if you're running for president, regardless of the party that you vote for, you got to be all over the place, and you can really only do that flying private, because they'll be in like they'll be in Milwaukee, then they'll be in Omaha, then they'll be in Phoenix, all in 48 hours.
Remember that time we saw Bill Clinton at the airport?
We did. That bastard held up the whole airport.
Where were we going? It was Elvis.
We were going to Iowa because we were in that little tiny terminal.
No, we were not going to Iowa. We were going to Elvis's
Oh, you're right.
induction into the Hall of Fame in Chicago.
Yep. But yeah, because there was a former president landing in that terminal, they had to like shut everything down. And we just sat there for a while. And I remember being really annoyed and then seeing Bill Clinton walk through. I was just like, man,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I was never old enough to vote for Bill Clinton. So whatever I felt about him is kind of irrelevant. But just seeing any president in person is pretty wild.
Yeah. It's on par with, I think, seeing a celebrity in person.
I think it's different because much like the royal family, they're tasked with being the figurehead of a country, not necessarily making every decision, because the presidents don't make every decision. It's usually Congress that actually writes and passes laws.
Seeing them means their Secret Service about to shoot you in the head.
I don't know if that's true. They have the ability to, but I don't think they're prepared. I don't think they're getting ready to shoot you specifically in the head.
You make one wrong move, boom, you're done.
And it's actually, I was talking to one of my friends recently. It's very similar to when we actually spoke to Hillary Clinton on our show originally.
I was thinking about that recently, being like, that was the freaking coolest thing ever.
And again, regardless of how I felt about Hillary as a candidate, someone who you grew up with, seeing, I guess it is very celebrity-like. You just saw her all over. There was obviously the Bill and Hillary scandal with Monica Lewinsky, all of that.
And she said my name, remember? I was dying.
And it's just, you sit back and you go like, wow, I'm talking to one of the most powerful people in America.
Yeah,
at the time.
Everyone knows this person, right? It's not like me interviewing Justin Bieber and my mom being like, Justice Bieber. It was not like that.
Made by Erica said, I got stuck in traffic because the presidential motorcade was driving by D.C. Yeah, that'll happen. That happened in Seattle one time. It was actually when Hillary Clinton, I believe. No, Obama was in town. And traffic was just miserable for hours because of it. Because once you hold up one thing in traffic, it takes a long time for that to dissipate.
That's how traffic works. Thank you.
Let's
Thank you for mansplaining traffic.
No, but I'm just saying, once they pass, it's not done.
Once you hold up one thing in traffic, there's traffic.
Well, no, what I was trying to say is even though they were gone, there's still traffic. There's still residual traffic because of that. Whenever a president visits West Point, there's always traffic up here. That's Karina from New York. West Point have you ever been up there?
No, but
it's
played
beautiful.
Them. That was when Rutgers played them and said F you. No, that was Navy. Was it Navy?
I don't know.
We played the Navy. Yeah. Was West Point Navy or Army?
Army.
Yeah, no. We played the Navy and everyone started chanting F you Navy and then we got in trouble.
I mean,
I didn't do it.
You know what? Even if you did, I wouldn't hold it against you.
The whole student body got in trouble.
Because let me tell you what. If people think that those Rutgers students who chanted that were saying F you to our entire Navy.
No, it's just the football players.
It's the football players. You're playing a football game. You've got to deal with the things that football teams deal with.
This was before cancellations. This was in probably 2009. And it was like, you were embarrassing to the student body. Everyone is talking about you.
No, you weren't. Because if we did FURU at Seton Hall, it's the same thing. You are on that field.
Yeah, but we're not representing our country.
It doesn't need. They are representing their school, right?
It's true. You know what? Freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want.
You can. They are representing their school on the football field.
And I wasn't being like, not I. I said I. They weren't being racist. They weren't, you know what I mean, being like
you're allowed
discriminatory.
You are allowed, as a fan of a team, to hate the team that you're playing, no matter where that team is from.
I don't know why I always remember that. The email we got that Monday morning.
Yeah, that's just what you're allowed to do. Yeah, like Jess from Minnesota said, at least you didn't yell scalp them like the
idiot drill team
cheerleaders that you were talking about today in the morning show podcast.
Yeah, there's a drill team from Texas, from a Texas high school. The school, I believe, are called the Indians. The drill team is called the Indianettes. They normally wear headdresses when they do their performances, but Disney would not allow them in the Disney parade to wear headdresses, and they still did their chant where they spell out the word Indians, and then they say, scalp 'em, Indians, scalp 'em. Mm-hmm. And from what I could personally see in the very blurry video was that they were all white cheerleaders. It wasn't like this was like a Native American drill team doing this. And even then, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cultural appropriation going on at this school.
It's also not even the appropriation. Like, you can argue with whether they should be even called the Indians or whatever. I think just the actual chants were just insensitive.
Just say kill him. Like, I mean, come on.
It was bad. UK Frog brings up a good point. Just because you have freedom of speech does not mean you are free of consequences. But
Truth.
I will say this, in the thing that Carla Marie brought up with Rutgers University getting in trouble for saying F you Navy, what are there really are no consequences. Navy can get hurt about it, and you can say, okay, now leave. Go away.
Don't do that again, or you won't have access to student games.
This was a sporting event. This wasn't a military march where people were throwing cans at the military people walking down the street.
But you're just saying that because it was Navy. If students started chanting something racist.
Yes, but that's not what it is. F you, saying F you to whatever team is playing your team, I think is totally normal. No, you can say, is it classless? Is it whatever? No, it's not classy. But it's just something that you do at sports, at games. I mean, there's an FURU chant when Rutgers plays at Seton Hall.
And then Seton Hall, what do we chant? Safety school?
Probably. That's kind of like what you get into as a sportsman. You get into just making fun of the other side.
Okay, yes, but let's go back to this for a second.
Yes.
Madison said, are we talking about PNG? Yes, that is the high school in Texas.
What is it called?
Port Neches Grove.
Oh, okay.
Because they're local and the parents at that school are so bad. They are defending them so much. It's ridiculous. They're claiming since they have always done that, it's okay. Which is what we always preach. Just because you've always done it doesn't mean it's right. Yes, you can say we've always done this. Let's look into better ways to do things.
Yeah. And part of those parents defending the statements is probably they don't want their kids to suffer the consequences of what could happen. They don't want kids being kicked off of a team or anything like that. So they're probably digging in deep to defend it.
And Neon Climber, let me explain this. She said, so if they can't wear headdresses, then what do they do for Pocahontas? That's a character, and I don't remember Pocahontas really, like her family may have worn them. I haven't seen the movie in years. Anyway, these are cheerleaders pretending to be Indians, pretending to be Native Americans, actually. This isn't someone at a Native American ceremony being told they can't wear a headdress. It's the same thing when you wear, like for Halloween, it's not right to wear the garb, the ceremonial or religious garb of another religion or
culture or whatever.
Because you're doing it as a joke, as a performance.
And I think really the worst part about it, it's not that they're called the Indians. It wouldn't have been the headdress if that was the worst thing. I think the actual chant, the scalp 'em Indian, scalp 'em or whatever they said, is the most offensive part of it. That's, I think, what it really comes down to.
Not the only offensive.
Apparently, the local tribe has reached out for 8 years, asked them to stop. I thought they were a Texas school.
They are. They're local tribe.
Oh, okay. No, because Madison. You were saying the name, not the place, right?
What are you talking about, Anthony?
Madison C94. That's the name. I heard Madison, and I was thinking Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
He said there's a Native parent who needs to reteach everything to his kid because they teach such backward things. Who are we to say what another culture finds offensive? Agreed. Madison, thank you.
But I think it's not just us saying, oh, they shouldn't do that because it's Native American. I think the Native American community in that area has been asking them to not do it. So that's how you know that it is offensive to that culture, if they have been reaching out and asking. And it is funny because Carla Marie brought this up in her story this morning. It's how Disney was like, oh, we didn't know that was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then the high school basically came back and said, like, we've done this 8 years in a row. So Disney 100% knew.
Well, to Disney's defense, they're not watching every live performance at the parade. And
of course.
Because someone posted on social media, now they know. But
how do we even start talking about that? Because we were talking about FURU and Navy.
Yes.
Again, cursing out Navy, very different.
What
cursing
else?
out specifically in a game of football that they're playing against another school, I think it's totally different. Disney just had so much bad press. They're trying to distance themselves. I mean, every company is going to distance themselves from bad press.
No, Disney recently
Yes.
has been in trouble
Mm-hmm.
between not sticking up for the Don't Say Gay bill, for rumors coming out that when Disney movies get put on like the chopping block of what needs to come out, it's often something of culture or a gay relationship.
But didn't Disney, in regards to the Don't Say Gay bill, and we do have to shut it down soon.
They came out after saying we're not going to do anything.
And then they pulled all funding from, I think, Florida.
Yes, eventually. But now
politicians.
there's all these other Disney employees that are like, I'm walking out because this company is not being supportive. Then there was the Disney employees that got arrested in the prostitution and child sex trafficking.
Okay.
But they weren't like...
It's not like these were high-level Disney people that were covering up something for Disney.
I'm not saying... What I'm saying is,
yes,
there has been a string of bad press for Disney. I am agreeing with whoever just said that. So the Disney, it doesn't matter if they were a janitor at Disney or not. That person's name is tied to Disney.
Yes.
Disney is in the press for not a good reason.
And that
is
sucks.
what bad press is. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or not. Disney's getting bad press. And then most recently, this. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Happiest place on earth.
Still is a pretty happy place. Let's see. Apparently, the audition tape they submitted didn't have those chants.
Yes, listen to the Morning Show podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I said that.
But here's what I want to do before we go. We're going to pose for a second for a picture because normally I've got to like find a clip to then take out of this video and then send to Carla Marie so she can post it on video on YouTube. So we're just going to do this.
No, we're not.
Why not?
No.
Do something.
No, I'd like when you find a random one.
I don't like them. It's too hard. It takes up too much time.
Seems like somebody doesn't want to work.
Let's see. I want to work efficiently. Sonali said that apparently the new Buzz Lightyear movie is going to have the first same-sex couple.
Oh, I am excited. I can't wait to hear what everyone's going to say about it.
Cool.
I get excited over things like that because, yes, it's progress, and I am here for it. But I also can't wait to see how much it pisses off people who grew up with Toy Story and are hateful humans. And they're going to be like, my childhood is ruined. Whee! Go sit in a corner and cry, you loser.
All right, let's take this picture. Why you're so angry today?
You're the one that told us it's our fault for being women.
I did.
What are you talking about?
Your fault. All right. Done. So we can use that later.
Before.
Yeah, but I wasn't. This is what Carla Marie does in all pictures, by the way. She's like, well, I was ready. I look good. It's fine. Carla Marie is that friend
No.
pictures.
I'm the person that's like, excuse me, I was not ready. You were like, I was here, I was ready. It's opposite.
No.
I don't know. You literally just made that up. You're gaslighting me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's see. I just started watching Red. Or was it Turning? No, Turning Red. What is that?
Can you go take out the garbage? I got to talk to the people about 3 things I watched on Netflix. 4.
No one cares.
No,
You save it for Thursday. We're out of here. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. If you have not listened to it yet, check out the Morning Show podcast. That is available everywhere you listen to podcasts. And right now, if you type in exclamation point and the word podcast, you will get the link for it. We have Brody and Scary and Brody. They joined us today. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So go check that out. It's the Morning Show podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Peace out. You look great.
You look great.